Hi, everybody. I just couldn't resist doing a live stream today because there's too much stuff to talk about. There's just too much stuff for us to discuss. Also, I wanted to let everybody know who might be joining in this live stream a little bit after the fact. There aren't timestamps, but there are visual timestamps. I put a red box around the story that we're discussing at the moment so that you can easily find the story you might be looking for. Hey, Jose. So anyone who joins during a live stream gets a shout out as soon as they join. And then also at the end of the live stream, after we discuss the 3 stories of the day, you can ask me anything you'd like for the final 10 minutes of the stream. And then I'll do a couple of shout outs, and then I'll get back to breaking down Ms. Marvel and Obi-Wan. I filmed both breakdowns, and then I have to edit them. And I shouldn't have gone back to sleep this morning, but I'd only gotten 2 hours of sleep, and I was like, I'm just too tired. So I got to make sure I go to sleep on time on Tuesday nights. Part of me wants them. That's right, Paul. I was like, how can I not cover Ryan Gosling as Ken when I've got a Barbie pink shirt on today? But anyway, I say I want them to have the Disney Plus shows on different days, but it would be brutal to have to get up on different days at 3 a.m. Well, actually 2 a.m. for me. All right, everybody, it's so nice to see you. One of the reasons that I wanted to talk about all this stuff today is that part of my job is to know what people are going to be talking about before it happens. And I can tell you that, we've discussed this a lot lately, that there is a very big change in the entertainment landscape because it's become some conservative pundits are, really weighing in. With hate clicks. It's never unfortunate. Unfortunately, it's never in a constructive manner. It's always in a really aggressive, negative manner. But Hollywood is not letting that discourage them from covering and portraying some really great stuff. But at the same time, while the Hollywood does that, they are really feeding these hate clicks. And so this is a way for you to get ahead of and see what's going to be coming down the pipeline very soon. Now, I wonder if this chatter raises up these projects, like the old saying is there's no such thing as bad publicity, right? Or will it affect them? I think, at the end of the day, the box office will decide if these things are a good idea. But I can tell you that all of these things are huge talking points right now in the entertainment landscape. And one of the reasons is because it's being driven by conservative commentary. So and I think Barbie is going to be one of those same projects that's going to be attacked considerably. And that's too bad. I hope that Barbie is good enough to overcome that. That's what I hope is the case. All right, so let's get started. This is like a really fascinating situation. All right, so, at least they're the hate is predictable. All right, so story number 1. Boop! Today, Warner Brothers revealed Ryan Gosling as Ken. I think he looks absolutely fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I think one of the funniest things is that he has his name written on his underwear, just like Calvin Klein, only it says Ken. And I hope that is something that Warner Brothers sells. Who here would buy Ken underwear with Ken written on it? I think it would be a big seller. Huge seller. What do you think? I think it would do so well. Look, everyone would buy it. It's just so great. I think this is a really great commentary on Ken. Now, yes, I do feel it has an LGBT aspect to it, and I feel that's intentional. That's the same take that they did on Ken over at Pixar with Toy Story. So I think it totally fits within that same portrayal of the character. I'm sure Ken underwear will come in all types. I'm sure you'll be able to get boxers and briefs, and I'm sure maybe even a Speedo or a thong. I think this is going to be a very adult film. Hey, Tanner. Hey, Noah. I think it's just so funny. I was disappointed to see a bad reaction to this. And I was like, wow, if people are having a bad reaction to this, this movie's just going to make their head pop off. Hey, UC. Because there's stuff about this movie that I'm going to talk to you about, which actually was broken by another reporter, but apparently did not get any coverage. So I'm going to talk about it. But first off, some people said that Ryan Gosling was too old for this role and also not handsome enough. I'm like, do you have eyes? I think he looks really great. But I like that he has personality. I like that he's in on the joke. This is a comedic but still attractive character. And I think that just works really well. He's funny hot. And I think he's a match for Margot Robbie. It's not like they cast like an 18-year-old as Barbie. So he might be 10 years older than Margot Robbie, but I don't think that's a substantial difference. I think it's great. I think he could not have a better person for Ken, in my opinion. Now, what people don't understand about this movie, I think when they saw, now Warner Brothers and Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig have done a little bit of a bait and switch. And they're very, very slowly showing you and revealing what this movie actually is. So yes, Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, I love that this Ken was released during Pride Month. I think that's fabulous. They are Barbie and Ken. However, New York Times reporter Kyle Buchanan, when he was at Cannes, got a pretty darn good scoop that they aren't the only Barbie and Ken in the movie. That there will be several Barbies and several Kens to show the different types of people that are out there and the different types of Ken and Barbies. Ken is a brunette sometimes. Today, Ken is mostly blonde. All right, so the Kens are, and they're all in the same universe. They're all friends with each other. I hope they call each other Ken 1, 2, and 3. This could be like the new Zoolander, and I think that is just so fabulous. All right, so Simu Liu is also playing Ken, as is Ncuti Gatwa, who is from Sex Education and is the new Doctor Who. So those are going to be your 3 Kens. Ryan Gosling, Simu Liu, and Ncuti Gatwa. I can't wait for this trailer to come out. I'm going to do a reaction. I'm going to do a breakdown. It's going to be a really big deal. So I love that. All right? Then here, it gets even better. Here are the Barbies. The Barbies are Margot Robbie, Issa Rae, who in my opinion is so Barbie. Issa Rae is so a Barbie, it's fantastic. I think Issa Rae is as much a Barbie as Margot Robbie. It's a great choice. And then it gets even more interesting because the third Barbie is going to be Harry Neff, who is a trans actress who was recently in Mrs. Maisel. If you saw Mrs. Maisel season 4, she played the reporter who's been giving Mrs. Maisel a hard time. So your 3 Barbies are Margot Robbie, Issa Rae, and Harry Neff. So I'm very excited to see all of these characters revealed. And I wonder if they'll do it in first looks like this, or if they'll wait for a trailer. I would wait for a trailer to totally explain the situation. There are lots of other big actors in the movie, but I think that that's a very big deal. So you have you're going to have, I think, LGBT characters. You're going to have a trans character. I think that this is very Barbie. And I think it speaks to who likes Barbie and who Barbie speaks to, both people growing up and helping to shape them, but also people who are still into the Barbie brand as adults. So I think it's quite brilliant of Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. And Simu Liu has been going around saying that the whole reason he signed on to this is his agent told him that it was the best script he ever read. So I think this could be a very big deal. However, you can see it's going to be right in the I was very sad to see some people using barf emojis with this, and I'm very upset about the kind of discourse that's come up on social media. But you can bet that those same groups are going to be really targeting this movie. And I hope that Warner Brothers is, I think you have a lot of really strong personalities here, and I think they're going to come to this movie's defense and they're not going to back down. So I think it's very, very interesting, and I'm very excited to see this film. But it's going to be a fight on social media, so I think you need to, be prepared for that. So you won't be taken aback when it comes about. I think it's always best to see these things coming rather than be surprised for them. But so anyway, that's what the Barbie movie is. I was surprised that Kyle Buchanan's scoop hadn't gotten more traction, and that people were so surprised when they saw this. I think what surprised me about it was that the movie was just going for it, and they were not being apologetic about that. And that, to me, I love. I think if you have a very strong creative, that's where it works. I can't believe you mentioned Cindy, Patrick. Are you talking about the British version of Barbie? That's hilarious that you brought that up. Maybe in a sequel. But I'm sure Skipper, Dane, I think Skipper's going to be there. I think everybody's going to be there. And I think it's going to be a great, great movie. But none of it's going to matter if it doesn't do well at the box office. So hopefully it does. I think it sounds really strong. Really, 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 really strong. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Yeah, that's right, TJ Williams. We got to get Kelly in there too. You know, Jack Foster, I bet you that Emma Mackey is playing Skipper because she looks so much like Margot Robbie. I would bet that she's Skipper. I think that would be excellent casting. I hope America Ferrera is a Barbie, but I have not heard anything about her being, I haven't heard any confirmation about that. All right, so that's the first story of the day. Very, very strong. All right, so the second story of the day. Hold on. Boop. All right, so there's a lovely photo that's been released of Alicia Hawthorne, her wife, and her child. So that's a really nice LGBT family. And I can't believe that anybody has a problem with this, but unfortunately they do. So Lightyear is hitting theaters this weekend, and it's the tracking has come on board, and it's being predicted. We'll talk about this on Movie Math, of course, which is going to go up on Monday because Movie Math falls this weekend on Father's Day. So I'm going to be spending the day with my dad. So anyway, it's predicted to make 70 to 85 million, which is low. I think that the box office is back. Movies should be opening where they once were, as we can see from some recent releases. So for that movie to open low, that's not great for Pixar. Recent Pixar releases, Toy Story 3 opened with 110, Toy Story 4 opened with 120, Finding Dory opened with 135, and Incredibles 2 opened at 182. That's huge. So to do less than 100 million than Incredibles 2, I think is not great. So I have to tell you, as I said in my recent review, I thought that the LGBT relationship here was handled very organically. I thought it was done in such a nice manner. It's no different than seeing LGBT parents greet each other with a kiss at a school function that you would see if a classmate had that situation. So, you know, if you had a classmate who had LGBT parents, it's not any different than what your child would witness in that scenario. So I don't think there's a problem with it. I don't see how there could be a problem with it. But of course, some countries have unfortunately banned the movie because I think it's not the kiss, but they don't like, it's really unfortunate, but I think people are taking an issue with showing an LGBT family in a positive light, which is a shame because it's such a lovely family when you'll see in the movie. And I think some people have responded with pictures of their own LGBT family, and I thought that was really great, really, really nice. It's so difficult for so many children in the world. If they can find a loving family, either the parents have them or through a lot of LGBT parents adopt or have foster children. And I think that's really wonderful. And so I can't believe anybody would have a problem with that. So Brett, don't give the twist away, Brett. We'll talk about that in a moment. Then also yesterday, Tim Allen was trending all day long. And I was like, it's starting. So first off, Patricia Heaton, who I guess has become a conservative person. Usually celebrities try not to pick a side. They want to appeal to as many people as possible. But yet some celebrities will pick a side in an effort to try and get a bigger fan base if things aren't going so well for them. So Patricia Heaton, I guess, has decided to, try and do that. If you read her Twitter bio, which I did yesterday when I saw her make that tweet. And I can understand her backing up Tim Allen and feeling bad that he was replaced. But I thought her using the word castrate was really inappropriate. Talk about, that's the thing. You have some people complaining about the LGBT kiss and showing a loving family, yet they go around throwing around terms like castrate to talk about recasting the voice of Buzz Lightyear. Totally inappropriate. So that's what she said. So that was trending. But then also Tim Allen, who I had just read an article. I was trying to find out where Tim Allen stood, and I was looking into him the other day. And Tim Allen had said, hey, I'm staying off Twitter because it's a tough place. I think he said as a conservative, he felt it was a difficult place for him. And then yesterday, he just goes and totally says something totally inappropriate and I think out of line. And he goes on and he makes a joke about pansexuals. And I was like, Tim Allen, are you just nuts? Like, what a way to underscore why you're not voicing this character. And I think he maybe to some degree might put his Santa Claus show in jeopardy because, Disney just wants to Disney. Disney wants to put out stories, and then it's up to you whether or not you want to watch or not. That's really what Disney's trying to do. And they're trying to tell a whole bunch of different stories. You know, Disney's like, we want to have stuff for everybody. So they have all different stuff so that anybody could log on to Disney Plus and find something they want to watch. Disney does not want drama. They do not want to have the problem that Netflix is having. So I don't understand why Tim Allen would go and make them nervous about what he's going to do. I mean, maybe he did that is like, maybe it's thinly veiled to get back at Disney for not casting him in Lightyear. But it seems like such an odd thing for him to do. And it wasn't even a funny joke. And some people said that he ripped off Schitt's Creek with the joke. So I don't know why he would do that. You know, it's aggressive. And I had just read an old article, of course, about Tim Allen saying that January 6th had given conservatives a bad name and that, you know, he was a moderate. And I feel like I don't understand why he would then go and fly in the face of that. It's just, you know, I think I don't appreciate, as I've said many times, I don't like extremism on either side, and I don't like aggressiveness on either side. So I was disappointed to see that from Tim Allen, just as I would be disappointed to see aggressiveness on the other side. I just feel it's not cool. All right. And then, of course, there's the Zurg twist. As I told you yesterday, mute Zurg on social media, because it's not only a shocking twist, but it is an aggressive twist. I think that Pixar had to know what they were doing, and they had to, and I don't think it was a good idea. Not only because of the aggressiveness, but because I feel like it ruins the character of Zurg. It politicizes the character and just ruins it to a degree. So I don't know why they did that. But they're going to reap what they sowed this weekend, as soon as people find out. So it's going to be interesting, and my spoiler review will go up tomorrow. Whew, I got a lot of work to do. All right, so anyway, so Lightyear is going to be a lightning rod of discussion for multiple reasons, as you're going to see. And it already started yesterday with the Tim Allen stuff. It's a good movie. I mean, it's not a fun movie, but as I said, it makes my top 10 of all time for Pixar. I think it has a lot of really nice elements. All right. Third story of the day. I know I'm a little late on this, but a number of you have been asking me to talk about the latest developments of Ezra Miller, especially since I had been very supportive of Ezra Miller, when things first started to come to light. But I'd never heard of this development, and yes, it is not very good. And some of you also said that you were confused as to what was going on. So I wanted to go over it and answer any questions that you might have. I would agree with Mika that it's unfortunate that Ezra Miller, speaking of the conservative commentary that we're seeing, I feel like he has just played into the really hateful term of groomer. And he's become the poster boy for that. And it's really unfortunate what he's doing for the LGBTQ community, what he's doing to them. It's really not good. I think it's shameful. All right, so the basic story, and I think some people have been twisting this to get more clickbaity headlines, but here's been what's revealed. So he knows a woman named Gibson Iron Eyes, and that's the woman in the back of that photo there. All right, they're in a car. There's a third person in that photo, but I didn't feel comfortable showing the third person because that person isn't part of this story, really. All right, so that's Gibson Iron Eyes, who happens to now be 18. And a number of people have argued that because she's now 18, she should be left alone and has the right to make any decisions that she wants to. But this is where it becomes problematic. Gibson Iron Eyes first started talking to Ezra Miller when she was 12, and he was an adult. And she apparently Ezra Miller flew her to the set of Fantastic Beasts and to go to the premiere in 2017 when she was just 14 and he was 25. So it's very problematic that that's how the relationship started, and that colors the relationship even to today. Because even though she's now an adult, the relationship was formed when she was underage. So that's a problem. Hey, the Salakzar. Now, the parents are accusing him of giving her LSD, inappropriate behavior. Yet others have countered that, hey, her parents were okay with this until recently, and there's even photos of Ezra Miller hanging out with her and her parents and their community. So some people feel like the timing on this is weird. I think that the reason the parents have spoken out now and have taken legal action is because their daughter has dropped out of college, which I think they have a big problem with. And also, she has not been in contact with them, they say, since January 2022. Now, that falls in line with Ezra Miller, from what I heard, dropping off the grid in early February, as I told you. Now, Gibson Iron Eyes, in her discussion of what's happened, has said someone they know died, which is why they decided to go and leave and go kind of like to travel. And that's what I heard about Ezra Miller. I heard that someone had died. That's all I want to say about it, but it involved a death. And that's why that's why Ezra Miller had a very difficult situation and had gone away by Jerry. And so that's why, Ezra Miller had become more unstable, because that death had caused a lot of personal pain for him. So that's what I'd heard. I had no idea that this Gibson Iron Eyes was with him. I knew he was with friends, but I had no idea it was somebody that he had befriended when they were underage. Now, I want to talk about what KP Productions said, talking about groomers coming in all shapes, sizes, genders, and sexes. I would like to say that that's something that I do not think gets enough attention. I see headline after headline about straight teachers being predatory and being groomers on their students in heterosexual situations. And nobody ever says anything about that. And so I'm very, and we're talking about schools. Yet I almost always see, whenever I see a teacher being predatory on students, it's in a heterosexual capacity. And yet everybody's vilifying the LGBT community. And I think that is just so hypocritical, it's ridiculous. Now, if people wanted to put laws into place that protected people against all predatory situations, that would be totally understandable. But instead, they're outlawing discussion about LGBTQ situation, even in helping students find themselves. And that, I think, is where you have a problem. So also look into this. Groomer was a term that was coined by a social media account that was doxed, but the address wasn't given out, just the identity. And this speaks to anonymity. This is a little bit of a tangent, but this speaks to the anonymity of the internet and why I think it's a bad thing. This person is able to go online and anonymously coin the term groomer and have such hate speech. And I'm surprised that this hate speech is allowed. And then this person is upset when their identity is revealed. And they actually have been revealed to apparently be an Orthodox Jewish woman who is in New York who recently moved to Los Angeles. And that person claims they have a right to their anonymity even though they're spreading hate speech. This is basically someone saying they have the right to not only yell fire in a crowded room, but to do so anonymously, therefore separating themselves from any repercussions for what they say. I feel that freedom of speech is important, but as we've always said, you do not have freedom of repercussion for that speech, and that's why anonymity is a problem. That you cannot, the fact that somebody wants to be able to say such hateful things under the cover of anonymity and feels that's their right, to me, is very problematic. I got to stand by everything I say. It's crazy. But, so back to the Ezra Miller situation. So that's what's going on with him. He did not kidnap an underage person, but he did start a relationship with an underage person, which he has maintained for 6 years now. For 6 years. I personally have not heard what they're doing. I don't know what Warner Brothers is going to do, but I think that it would be almost impossible to release the movie at this point. Someone has tried to serve Ezra Miller. I mean, you can just see her in that photo. That photo to me warrants an investigation. That's not a photo where and the fact that Ezra Miller felt it was okay to post that photo when she clearly looks so bad and like she's in such a bad situation, I think it needs to be investigated. And that's what the court has decided. But it's been found that they can't serve Ezra Miller because they cannot find him, is what they said. They're not trying hard enough. I think they could find Ezra Miller. I mean, he posts occasionally on Instagram. We know who Ezra Miller is traveling with at this point. I think they should be able to find Ezra Miller and serve them. But they haven't been able to. I don't think they're going to be able to release it at all, quite frankly. I think that they're probably meeting about it and trying to decide what to do. But I think at this point, the bottom line is he did befriend an underage person and has had a long-term relationship that the parents are not happy with. And has been, it seems, and again, while this woman is supportive of Ezra Miller, you can't really trust it because of how the relationship started. So we'll see what they decide to do, but I don't know how. I mean, honestly, I don't know how I don't know how they could promote a movie that had an individual like this in it, because it would seem like they were saying, like, how does that person still get to be a movie star and the star of like one of the biggest blockbusters of the year? It just doesn't make any sense. Joshua says, what type of relationship is this? Well, that's the problem, Joshua. Nobody knows. I think it does not seem to be, from what I've heard, purely friendship. I think there's just so many red flags. It's just so many red flags. I think it's not appropriate for an adult man to be friends with an underage child. It's not good. KP Productions, last I heard, as I said yesterday from Flash Film News, Ezra Miller was in Los Angeles doing ADR for The Flash. He was working on the movie still. But that was before this came out. Does anyone else have any questions about this before we get to the Ask Me Anything You Want section? Mike Reese says Warner Brothers needs to issue a statement. I would agree with that. I think that they need to handle a statement, and ideally Ezra Miller would say something, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure what Ezra Miller could say that would excuse the behavior of befriending an underage child. Maybe the thing is they could send it to HBO Max. Marduk says, I'm a doctor. I have helped many teenagers who still contact me. Am I a groomer? Marduk, I mean, I hope not. I mean, you understand how you're interacting with them. Hey, Dolly Parton, I hope you're interacting with them with their parental supervision or with the supervision of someone else. Hey, writer boy. It's the same thing when you go and see a doctor these days. Somebody else needs to be in the room during the examination. I mean, that's why the nurse is there. People just need someone there as a witness to make sure that everything is above board. And so, I mean, you have to tell me if you're handling yourself appropriately. I don't know you. Rashad says, will this affect Keaton's role in Batgirl? I think that, this Flash movie is supposed to bring Keaton into the DCEU. It's supposed to introduce Sasha Calle. I think that maybe that's why they'll release it on maybe HBO Max. I mean, this is important to get it in there. Marduk, I'm sorry you're insulted, but you brought it up. You asked that question. I would think you would not even ask it because you would, of course, know that it wasn't true. I don't think Ezra Miller is advising. Ezra Miller is certainly not a doctor. Hey, love my G23. Ray says, do you think they could save the stuff with Keaton and use it for Batgirl? I don't know how they could because he has all his conversations with the Flash. All right, I'm good. I'm glad, Marduk. I'm glad it's all good. Thank you for being a member for so long. I appreciate it. Hey, writer boy. I'm glad you caught today's stream too. All right, it seems like you don't have too many questions about this. Let's just go to Ask Me Anything, okay? All right, so it is 3:30. You can ask me anything you'd like until 3:40. Media lover, I did see the Netflix Matilda musical trailer. A Broadway Disney fan has asked me about it as well. I thought that was funny because I saw Matilda on Broadway. I absolutely loved it. It was an incredible show, and I thought the musical looked like it was really well done and captured the magic of the original production. Although I don't know how I feel about Emma Thompson playing Mrs. Trumbull, because I forget who the actor was. He was so good. I saw like the one who was famous for it. It was an actor in drag on Broadway, and he did a phenomenal job. And I had wished that they had I wish they had gotten him to return instead of, I guess Emma Thompson is the bigger name, but I wish that's what they had done. Let's see here. Bertie Carvel, thank you. Bertie Carvel, I saw him and he was incredible. Incredible! Alexander, I missed the Jurassic World Dominion spoiler review. I'm having a hard time adjusting to covering 3 shows at once, as I said yesterday. I'm trying to get back on track. It's very difficult to cover The Boys, Obi-Wan, and Ms. Marvel all at once, but I'm really trying to get back on schedule. It's very hard. TJ Williams, I'm making turkey burgers myself for dinner tonight. I love turkey. Very good. Nom, 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 nom. With some American cheese. But anyway, I thought the Matilda trailer looked great. As for Love, Victor, Evan's asking me if I'm going to review it. You know, I started to watch Love, Victor, and I thought it paled so much in comparison to Heartstopper that I feel Love, Victor's, I'm glad I saw it trending early this morning, but I feel that I think Heartstopper is the future. So I will probably review Heartstopper season 2 because it was such a popular show. I can't make any promises. I have to see what it comes out based on everything else that's coming up at the same time. A Little Place of Wonder, yes, starting next week because I haven't seen Ms. Marvel. I saw these 2 episodes of Ms. Marvel, so it was difficult for me to rewatch it again. But I will, now that I haven't seen Obi-Wan or Ms. Marvel, it'll be a back-to-back watch-along starting this Wednesday, June 22nd. Ethan, I feel bad about Ms. Marvel not trending. You'll see me address it in my breakdown. I think part of the reason is that the show isn't built to trend. They don't have any big reveals. You know, I know some people don't like this, but you really have to put your business hat on when you're making these shows. And every episode, just like you do with a movie, you have to ask yourself, what would make this trend? Do I have a trendable moment? The Russo brothers are really good at that. That's one of the reasons I think they're so successful. Rashad, I don't know if I have time to do a Multiverse of Madness watch-along next week. I mean, next Wednesday, I have a lot of screenings next week. Let's just leave it at that. I'm going to be watching a lot of new movies next week, and that's all I'm going to say. Thanks, Salty Snack. Millie Jo says, what is your favorite movie with LGBT representation? Mine is Rocky Horror Picture Show because of its cultural significance. Oh, that's really nice. It's hard to choose. I really like Heartstopper. I did watch it. I binged it. I thought it was so good that I watched it it's also very bingeable because it's 30-minute episodes. I watched it in 24 hours, and I thought it was just so wonderful and so wholesome. I thought it was just wonderful LGBT entertainment. I loved it. I thought it was great. But I think Barbie's going to be great LGBT entertainment. Tarlos, Trisha, I see you talking about Secret Invasion. I don't know. Secret Invasion is supposed to come out later this year. Aaliyah says, do you think the Lightyear LGBT kiss will have an impact on the general public? If so, what are your cinema score predictions? I think it's impossible to tell if it's the LGBT kiss because I think that Lightyear will have maybe something in the B range for a cinema score, but there are so many elements in Lightyear. It's not as fun as Toy Story. You've got the Zurg twist. So I think there are other elements, and it's impossible to tell why people are doing the score. Hey, Tyler, no. Jason, I can't quit Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I watch it on Saturdays. I save it for Saturday morning because I like watching it as a morning show, and it's just a way for me kind of to unwind and relax. Oh, Trisha, what did HBO Max cancel? I saw they canceled Raised by Wolves, but did they cancel anything else? Nuno, Barry Season 3 is definitely worth watching. It gets off to a bit of a slow start, but it finishes so strong, you should definitely watch it. TJ Williams, I believe they'll start promoting Little Mermaid at D23 in September. Mika, I'm going to try to do House of Dragon weekly breakdowns. I have to see if there's an audience for it. So far, there hasn't been a huge audience. Colby, I don't think they could reshoot The Flash and get... I mean, I think he's the main character. He plays multiple characters in the movie. And they've already done a lot of the VFX work. It would be so expensive to do this over. Brett Crandall says, what LGBTQIA superhero is at the top of your live-action treatment wish list? Happy Pride, everyone. Oh, that's easy. Wiccan. 100% Wiccan. Wiccan and Hulkling, who I feel are already in Heartstopper. Got 3 minutes to go. Hey, Dan G. Devin, I'm gonna review Lord of the Rings. I don't know if I'm gonna cover Lord of the Rings. I don't know Lord of the Rings lore. I mean, again, I have to see the interest for these shows. It's very hard to cover all of these shows. Tabitha, I did watch the Disney Strange World teaser, and I'll tell you a little bit of tea. I do believe that the teenage son is an LGBT character from what I've heard. So I'm excited for them to reveal that, and that's part of the father-son bonding experience when they go on that adventure together. Freedom Tompkins says, do you think Jurassic World will hit $1 billion? I need to see how it does the second weekend. I think the two movies gunning for $1 billion right now are Top Gun Maverick and potentially Jurassic World Dominion. I do not think that Multiverse of Madness will make it. Trisha says, Grace, why is Disney stock down? Bob Chapek, basically. I think people have a lot of problems with a lot of things that Disney is doing. I think it's more that Disney seems like a company in turmoil and doesn't, like Bob Iger kept the ship steady. And I think part of the problems are just what's going on in the world right now and Disney trying to navigate that. And also Bob Chapek. Now, here's the thing you have to realize about Disney. Disney has always been appealing to both, and this is interesting, Disney has always been a place that appealed both to extreme conservatives and extreme liberals. Everybody's always loved Disney. But suddenly these two groups are at war with each other and they're fighting over Disney. And Disney has tried to stay out of it. But I think with the Florida bill, they could no longer do that. And they had to support their employees, and I'm glad that they did. And that's why I think and also I think that a lot of the changes, I think that some of the Disney magic is going away. And I think that's what's also a problem. I think the paid fast pass is a problem for Disney. I think they're stripping out a lot of the Disney magic with a lot of the redos on the hotels and the parks. And it just doesn't, I think people are people have very strong feelings about Disney and what they wanted to do. And I think that you got to spend the extra money to give it that Disney magic. And Bob Iger was willing to spend that money, whereas Bob Chapek he wants to do it on the cheap. Or he wants to squeeze more money out of it if possible. And that's where I think a lot of your problems are coming from. Ethan, I think that I totally understand why Bob Chapek fired Peter Rice, but let's see what happens. Bob Chapek's contract is up in less than a year. And some people pointed out that even though the board came out in favor of Bob Chapek and supported him, they still have not given him an extension on his contract. So I think they're going to let it go down to the wire, and I think Bob Chapek really needs to get that stock back up. If he gets the stock back up, he'll probably maybe get an extension. We'll see. Dane, thank you for the cooking suggestions. I appreciate that. Happy New Comic Book Day to you too, Dylan. All right, it's 3:40. Let me do some shout outs. The program I use, Denzel, I use Adobe Premiere. All right, let me give some shout outs. What's everybody up to? Just give me a reason to interact with you. Give me your name. Give me what you're doing today. Are you having any lunch? Juan, I will be watching Only Murders in the Building, but let me tell you, when I watch shows to review, I therefore am no longer able to talk to anyone I know about it because I'm so far ahead of them. So for a show that's not really big in terms of coverage, I just decide to wait to watch that with everybody else so I can interact with my friends and family and talk about it. Chad, I hope you're having a great meeting. Trevor just got some Starbucks. Fantastic. Jen has a doctor's appointment later today. Good luck. Thanks, Levi. I'm glad you like my shirt. Let's see here. Wanda the Witch is eating Italian food for lunch. That's delicious. Millie's about to watch Kenobi during her lunch break. Lena's about to watch Ms. Marvel. My breakdowns will be up by the end of the day. Jose says, my Yorkie of 14 years passed away. Your videos make me forget the pain for a few minutes. Oh, that's so sad, Jose. What a nice username. I'm so sorry to hear about your dog, but it sounds like your dog was very loved. So I'm sorry that you're dealing with that, but it's a process, and I'm sure you'll come out strong on the other side. Freedom Tompkins is going to watch Jurassic World today. Oh, that's fantastic. World of Devon in California, being excited about Family Guy getting renewed. I do enjoy me some Family Guy. Some of the only half hours I still watch are Family Guy and occasionally The Simpsons. But I just like Family Guy. Juan Carlos is having McDonald's nuggets. I'm so jealous. Neal is chilling with his kitten. Jennifer is hiding in her office watching me. I love it, Jennifer. Shh. Devin says, oh, I'm so glad you like my glasses. These are Tom Ford glasses. Thank you very much. Oh, it's my pleasure, Neal. I think it's important. Ethan says, enjoying my day off with my puppy. See, Jose, one door opens, another closes. I hope you consider getting another dog when you've properly mourned your Yorkie. Chico says, watching an early screening of Lightyear tonight with my friend. Very curious about the Zurg twist. You're going to be surprised. Don't give it away. Yeah, Late Code. I'm still excited for the Obi-Wan finale. You know, it's the finale. Something cool should happen, I hope. And you'll see from my breakdown later today, I was able to take some interesting things from today's episode. Oh, hey, David. I'm glad you were able to hop on. I'm about to take a power nap during lunch at work. I love it. You're going to recharge for sure. I love it. Brent says, just made it, leaving the office, and your hair looked amazing last night. I'll wear it up more often. Yeah, I wore my hair short. I had my hair up in a ponytail, and so it looked like I had a haircut on the stream. And I'm glad you guys liked it. I'm always nervous to try a different look, so I'm glad you liked the way it looked. Rashad is also having a day off, eating some PB&J, and about to watch episode 2 of Ms. Marvel. Oh, that sounds like a great afternoon. Trisha Monger says, watch Pleasantville, and it totally is WandaVision. It is! Ray Skywalker is going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to make some Greek food later. That's very nice. And Jacob Herrera says, also in Los Angeles, sitting here waiting for Ms. Marvel episode 3 to magically appear. I'm sorry, Jacob. You got to wait for 1 week. All right, so I'm glad we were able to do a live stream today. I'm so happy I got to do another one. I'm trying to do these more regularly as promised. I do not believe there will be another live stream this week, but I'm going to try again for next week. And then, of course, it'll be a double watch along on the 22nd of both Obi-Wan and Ms. Marvel. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys soon. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye.